In this video, we're going to be using the V. John Classic Shaving Cream and the ker Edelweiss Straight Razor. Stay tuned. Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And as mentioned before, today we're going to be using the V. John Classic Shaving Cream. This is a shaving cream out of India, and I got it at the Razor Company, and it was $6.39, although I'm sure you can find it cheaper, probably as low as $1.99 in some places, even at $6.39 for 4.40 ounces. It is an exceptional $1.45 on our cost chart there. Very, very inexpensive. This has tea tree, it has their Bacti guard and all that kind of stuff. We'll show you the ingredients right there. The scent on it is a clean and fresh sort of scent, which is characteristic of many of these creams. Scent strength is, I'd call it under medium light, but very, very pleasant. We're going to be using the ker. This is the Edelweiss razor, which I recently acquired and honed up. Looked like it had a good factory edge, however, I did kill the edge. I took it to the Shapton Glass HC 4K, Shapton Glass HC 8K, Nanin 12K, and our Suhiro 20K. And so we'll see if we did a great job on this Edelweiss razor today. Let's go ahead and get started. And if my lathering today is poor, keep in mind I'm going to use the Saville. It's got a little bit more backbone than I typically like. The Saville I used yesterday, I love. This one, I didn't love it the first time I used it. We'll see how it goes. And we do have that bump there, so if we open that up, we're not going to count it as a cut. It doesn't belong there anyway, so if we scalp it, no big deal. All right, Saville 3824, I believe is the model of this one. And the loft is set a little short on this one for me, honestly. But let's give it a go and see if we can take to it. It's still soft. And so for that, I'm grateful, but I'd like a little bit more loft, honestly. For my preference, I'd like loft to be a little bit higher because I don't need that firmness or backbone that a brush like this can offer. Now, some people say all Saville are floppy. I don't think this one is. And again, you can see in the lather here that it's not my usual sort of lather, and it's running down the handle there, but it will be plenty adequate, And we'll see if we can coax this lather out of the brush. I tell you, the one I used yesterday, that 3328, I love it. This one here, it's a little short in the loft, but it is soft. So I've decided I'm gonna try to work with it and see how it goes. And we're not gonna win any awards for a show lather, but I promise you this lather is gonna be more than adequate for a great shave. Don't concern yourself so much with the way lather looks. And if you want to know how I make the lather in the bowl, I'll mention again. I'll put the tutorial below. Check out that playlist, lathering. But this right here will be more than adequate for a shave. Let me rinse that handle a little bit. All right, set that aside and cut this back a little bit. We don't need to shave all the way down to our chest. And hopefully we did a great job on the edge. We'll find out. This razor has some good heft to it, by the way. This is a 5/8 razor, but I find that it's got some good weight to it. It feels in weight like a 6/8 razor, 6/8. It's around 2 ounces, you know, close to it on my scale. Felt pretty good. So let's see how we do today. See if we did a good job on the edge. Feels pretty good so far. It always feels pretty good there though. Or every now and then, if I did a bad job, you can feel it there. But so far, that's nice. Very nice, very smooth, sharp. I'm liking it. And I think this Edelweiss razor is quite handsome. It's what drew me to it, honestly. And if I'm saying that wrong, or I'm saying ker wrong, or I'm not spelling it, keep in mind, I barely speak English, let alone German. So we beg your forgiveness on that. Whoa, very nice edge. I'm definitely happy with the job I've done on this edge. No problems whatsoever with that. go up there and lightly get those hairs that grow up towards the, almost all the way up to the eyeball. Oh, by the way, I want to mention someone that I just discovered had a YouTube channel. And you know how I've sort of revisited mentioning new folks until I get to know them. But I've gotten to know this gent some through my channel. Paul Speller. I'll link his channel below. Very nice guy. I've been talking to him for, I think, a couple of months now. And I just found out the other day he has a channel of his own. And I found his video. I watched one just today where he's using the Fat Guy razor. I really enjoyed it. And so give Paul a look. Also, I want to mention my buddy Jimmy from NYC Wet Shaving, who is getting close to 1,000 subscribers. So go over and check out Jimmy. I'll link his channel below. And if you haven't subscribed, consider giving him a sub and putting him over that 1,000 mark. Congrats, Jimmy, on nearing 1,000, and I know you'll make it soon, and we will congratulate you when you get over the top. Jimmy is from Greece originally, so if you're one of the Greek viewers, maybe you'll enjoy, he does some videos in Greek language, so you might enjoy that. Like I said, I can barely speak English, let alone Greek or German or anything else for that matter. Really, really nice job on the edge. So once again, that progression is working well for me. The cream, plenty slick enough. I had someone ask me, I used one of these creams a while back and they were like, well, yeah, you used a DE, but can you use a straight razor with it? Yes, sure. I've got a video where I shave with just water. And the point of that video was to say, really, it's about technique. And if I do a good job with my shaving technique, almost without respect to what I use, I'll be fine. You know, as long as you have some sort of slickness, be it water or whatever, you'll be fine. The soap certainly aids in that process. It makes it more enjoyable. It allows that razor to glide a little more smoothly and nicely, for sure. But I've shaved with just plain water before, just to prove a point that, look, if you're minding your P's and Q's, as they say, and watching your technique, you can shave with about anything. And again, I'm gonna have to work with this brush to, you know, get used to it. I don't like it as much as the 3328 that Scott, the Peaceful Shaver, gifted me, because this one is short, both in the handle and in the loft. But it is soft. But this one has a little bit of backbone to it, and we've dropped a hair there, it looks like. And according to the stallion, they rarely drop hairs. So, but you're going to have that sometimes on Badger, you know, on your first uses when you're breaking them in. They're going to drop some. As long as there's not dropping multiple every single shave, I'm not going to worry too much about it. And again, that lather is not going to win any awards of any type. But that's on me. That's not the cream. The cream, believe me, is slick and it's fine. There's no problem with it whatsoever. Let me rinse that off. It's me using a Badger, and you know, you can be well experienced as I am, but I haven't really used Badgers regularly for years, and so it takes time to sort of get that back. You know, once you stop using it, you sort of you know, it's almost like muscle atrophy. If you don't use it, you lose it, and that's still a new brush to me, so we'll get better with it, or we won't keep it. But I'm trying to continue to use that to take to it. But right now, I'm not crazy about it. But I do want to like it because I love that other one so much. And I'm thinking maybe, I know for a fact the other one's a loft is set higher. And it's a bigger brush also. And so I'm just kind of enjoying that, I think. Now, one thing that is working well, the cream, plenty slick enough, no problems whatsoever. And the edge here is quite nice, so we've done a good job on that. Hopefully you can hear that razor singing, doing its work. Very nice. I really like these hollow grounds. Hollow grinds, I should say. I said hollow grounds like I'm speaking of something else, but hollow grind, not hollow grounds like I'm talking about coffee or something. Very nice. Oh man, that's a nice edge. So no complaints there. We've done well again, and that certainly makes me happy. Just trying to remain consistent. Once you're getting something to your satisfaction, if you can develop that consistency, I think that's what it's all about. Consistency, if you're doing things well. Now, of course, if you're doing things poorly, consistency is not great. But if you have a process that's working well and you're consistent in it, and you just keep doing it over and over and over, you'll develop that technique that you're looking for over time. And we're beginning to develop that with honing, which is very nice. I'm trying to go easy around that spot there. Very nice on the edge. No problem at all. One thing I have to remind myself about is to continually remember to move that stretching point. That's an Achilles heel of mine, is to, sometimes I'll stretch low, but I'm shaving high, and stretching low when you're shaving high doesn't always work. So remember to move that stretching point and actually make it effective in the area you're shaving, because just stretching aimlessly is not really going to help. It's more important to do effective stretching than just stretching aimlessly. And you can learn what works best for you just by doing it. Just practice, continue to do it. And over time, you'll figure out where you need to stretch and how you need to stretch. And it's not the same for everyone. And just mindlessly stretching isn't the key in my view. It's effective stretching, and I don't always do it well. Still, like I said, I mention this fairly routinely, that I'm still in the learning process. And so I'm not quite, now I did shave with a straight razor probably 7-8 years ago. And I did maybe 15, 25 back then. And then periodically over the years, I would use the shavette or something like that. And this lather here at the bottom is quite thin, but it'll be just fine for a shave, I promise you. So we'll do this pass. Let's go. Let's just paint it thin. Try to work most of that volume up. Just to prove a point here. For one, the lather's already thin, but I just want to illustrate here that even though it's thin, it's slick. And that, for me, is the key, that slickness. And again, if I can learn to use this brush better, it won't be so thin. But this right here, which you see is not going to win any awards ever, will be just fine. If I'm on my game in terms of shaving. That's really the key. Technique is paramount, paramount, paramount. I can't emphasize how important that is. It is more important than any other factor. To me, after that, the blade comes next, whether it's DE or straight. Technique number 1, blade number 2. And then later, things like soap. But if you have hydration, which this does, and it is slick, which it is, it will be fine. If, and that's a big if, your technique is on point. And that's really the main thing to consider always. Is your technique on point? Are you paying attention? Are you keeping a light touch? If you are, it'll be fine. It's because you see right there, nobody's going to brag about that lather. But it's going to do the job. And that's sort of the point we're trying to emphasize here. For me, the danger zone is usually when I'm putting the razor to the face, making sure I'm keeping that blade sort of flat and not coming in too hot, as I like to call it, or steep. But as you can see there, that razor is gliding very, very smoothly because that slickness is there. And if you have that, you've got most of what you'd need. Now, I know a lot of people prefer a different type of lather. And again, I'm trying to go a little bit easy around that spot as to not open it up too much. A lot of people like different sort of lathers, thick lathers, and some people refer to protection. My personal philosophy is the protection is here in the hands and here in the head. Because if you have good communication between the mind and the hand, that's your protection. The soap is not going to protect you, in my opinion. It will help the razor glide. But ultimately, there's no amount of soap that can protect you from bad technique. If you come in too hot with the blade, or you make a mistake with the blade, it's usually a cut and there's no way around it. Looks like we finally did open up that. Oh, maybe we didn't. Yeah, we did open that up a little bit. But we expected we would. I tried to go over that a little bit softly, but ultimately it decided, I'm not happy with you. However, in almost every situation, technique trumps everything. So keep that in mind if you're learning. And that was a very nice shave. The edge is great. The cream did well. I didn't do a great job lathering it, but that's me and the brush not getting along. But we'll continue to plug away and learn to get better with that. Let me rinse and then we'll come back and get into the post. Stay tuned. All right, and we are back, and off cam, we used the PAA alum block. First, we did a warm water rinse, used the alum, then a cold water rinse, and closed that bump up with no problem whatsoever with the alum, so that was great. That's the only place the alum staying was in that place right there. Then we followed it up with the Thayer's Magic, because it was made by witches, of course. That's a cucumber, by the way. The V-John Cream Today Classic smells good, very slick, no problem, great price. I enjoyed it. The ker Edelweiss with my edge, the Evangelist edge, was very, very nice today. I'm very happy with this razor and the edge. It was really, really awesome. No problem with that. The Saville row is just meh. This particular one, the 3824, is just meh for me. The loft is a little low for me. I really love that 3328. I don't love that one yet. Maybe we'll get better with it. The Captain's Choice Copper Bowl is always a winner. And we're going to close it out today with some vintage skin bracer, and that's a lot of skin bracer, 8 ounces. This is a vintage glass bottle, and a lot of these old vintage razors don't have really a restrictor in the way that aftershaves do today, so I just put my hand over the top, kind of like the PAA bottles, and this is the way that most of them used to be back in the day. And we slap the skin bracer on, and that is wonderful. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, I've been your host, CDB, reminding you, it's your shave, do it your way, and as always, God bless.